So we have a unique practice in last 6 years that we read out loudly, all of us together, the great words which Swamiji spoke on that day, exactly 131 years before. Speeches generally are written down in advance for impressing people, but here was a young man, and he's 29 years old, was not sure what to speak, doesn't know when his turn will come. In such a huge, august assembly, Swamiji himself mentions that remembering the Guru and Goddess Saraswati, I started speaking. And these words became so immortal and historical that even after 131, we'll come into when I will speak about it later, that there are not many speeches in the world which are celebrated. That aspect we shall see. So now I request all of you to look at the screen and read out loud. I will keep the pitch bit higher for all of us to read it. Sisters and brothers of America, it fills my heart with joy unspeakable to rise in response to the warm and cordial welcome which you have given us. I thank you in the name of the most ancient order of monks in the world. I thank you in the name of the mother of religions, and I thank you in the name of millions and millions of Hindu people of all classes and sects. My thanks also to some of the speakers on this platform who, referring to the delegates from the Orient, have told you that these men from far-off nations may well claim the honor of bearing the different lands, the idea of toleration. I am proud to belong to a religion which has taught the world both tolerance and universal acceptance. We believe not only in universal toleration, but we accept all religions as true. I am proud to belong to a nation which has sheltered the persecuted and the refugees of all religions and all nations of the earth. I am proud to tell you that we have gathered in our bosom the purest remnants of the Israelites who came to southern India and took refuge with us in the very year in which their holy temple was shattered to pieces by Roman tyranny. I am proud to belong to the religion which has sheltered and is still fostering the remnants of the grand Zoroastrian nation. I will quote you, brethren, a few lines from a hymn which I remember to have repeated from my earliest boyhood, which is every day repeated by millions of human beings, as the different streams having their sources in different places all mingle their water in the sea. So, O Lord, the different paths which men take through different tendencies, various though they appear, crooked or straight, all lead to Thee. The present convention, which is one of the most august assemblies ever held, is in itself a vindication, a declaration to the world of the wonderful doctrine preached in the Gita. Whosoever comes to me, through whatever form, I reach him. All men are struggling through paths which in the end lead to me. Sectarianism, bigotry, and its horrible descendant fanaticism have long possessed this beautiful earth. They have filled the earth with violence, drenched it often and often with human blood, destroyed civilization, and sent whole nations to despair. Had it not been for these horrible demons, human society would be far more advanced than it is now. But their time has come, and I fervently hope that the bell that tolled this morning in honor of this convention may be the death knell of all fanaticism, of all persecution with the sword or with the pen, and of all uncharitable feelings between persons wending their way to the same goal. We just read also Swamiji's Chicago address. Here, few aspects are there which can be which can be reminded. One is, this is not the only speech of Swamiji. You can see complete works of Swami Vivekananda in 9 volumes. So hundreds of lectures Swamiji has given in not only in America or the Western world, also in India. Second aspect is, Swami Vivekananda is not the only person in the history who has given great speeches. But what is the difference? As just now you heard, that there is hardly any other reference where somebody's speech is being celebrated. After 131 years, all of us are sitting here. Many of our centers celebrate this day today. I was just thinking, since few days, that what could be the relevance in terms of, even you celebrate as a speech. If you look for the famous speeches, for example, Google is one platform where whatever has a maximum hits will pop up first on your screen. So, in 1863, Abraham Lincoln's speech was considered as very iconic speech. He told about the social issues, differences between the skin color and because of the discrimination which used to happen. Great speech by Martin Luther King Jr. I Dare to Dream became very iconic. In recent history, Nelson Mandela's speech is in the list of the great speeches which have ever delivered. But even if you classify all the famous speeches, either are given by the social reformers or by the politicians. Great speeches, great impact. But in that list, this is the only speech where you see there is a unification, there is synthesis, there is no opposition to any, there is no differentiation, classification, belittling, no negative feeling. And this extempore speech which Swamiji gave, practically without any preparation, and that is being celebrated here. A speech which was given where he was not even an official representative. After he went there, he found that the recommendation is required and there is no recommendation letter. There was one with him. It was given, that also he lost. And it is as if the wish of God, what you heard in the last, when Swami Bodhasaranandaji came, he also reminded that how the divine works behind. Why Swamiji was tired and sat on a bench in front of that particular house whose door will open. Why nowhere else but in front of that house? Swamiji was tired and here the door opens and the lady says, "Sir, have you come for Parliament of Religion?" Swamiji, "Yes, I came. No place to stay." She opened the door of her house. Not only doors of her house, also of her heart. And that became, in Swamiji's words, the headquarter of my American work. Why Swamiji should be resting in front of that house and no other houses? Many others came in the life of Swamiji as if things fall in place, the correct people came at the correct time. And believe me, the more years we all spend in this order, it is not only Swamiji's life, but in the life of this order, correct people are coming in terms of making the movement faster. Just now I was hearing Swamiji is Assistant Secretary of the Order, so he has a lot of information about the whole order. Believe me, more than 100 written applications are waiting, affiliated our ashram. We are working hard, we are doing great work. Scarcity of monks is one, but centers are plenty to be affiliated. So much demand about the positive thoughts, so much demand about the positive spiritual fervor, what we call bhava, put in motion as a movement. by Sri Ramakrishna, Holy Mother and Swamiji and other disciples of Sri Ramakrishna. So much, the word is called Ghanibhuta, as if it is concentrated spirituality. Many times we say, there is nobody in this world, even an atheist, open the pages of Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna and say, this man is just blabbering something. Nobody is free from getting influenced by that. And very strangely, I have not traveled the whole world, but whatever message we get from different religious leaders and groups, there is hardly anybody who is truly spiritual, whether high post or a common monk or a common spiritual seeker, who is not influenced by Ramakrishna Vivekananda thought. Many of us monks, when we go to Uttarkashi or Rishikesh and all that, we see Hindu monks of different denominations, especially when we go for Bhiksha and all that. There is hardly anybody who is not influenced by Ramakrishna Vivekananda. I remember in my childhood, one of the Swami who had joined the order, later on left for some reason and passed away recently. His mother used to be teacher in the same primary school, another lady whose son has become a monk, on a altogether different sampradaya, and is staying in wilderness in a cave. We were very enthusiastic to go and see that how a monk stays in a cave. So we 2-3 friends, who all of us became monk later on. We went, we saw him in very remote interior Gujarat state. Very beautiful place, looks very deserted place, but after walking few kilometers, suddenly you find a gorge which is lush green. Inside there is a cave. So we are all connected with the mission, so we don't accept everybody and anybody just anyhow. So I told him that we are volunteers and very young, so devotee is a big word for us, of Ramakrishna Ashram. And I will like to see the room where you stay. So that monk was young at that time, maybe around his 30s. It's okay, I am sitting, you go to the next left cave is my cave. I went, there is nothing except the platform, and few books were there. He has nothing to do with Ramakrishna Order. I saw in some books, thickest book I took, and it happens to be Ramakrishna Kathamrita, or the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. I told what this book is doing here. He told me one thing, who has no connection with Ramakrishna Order at all, but he is a monk by himself. He said, which other book you want me to read for sustenance of my spiritual life? So, the unadulterated spirituality, very interesting one observation I read. Mother Kali, the writer is calling her that black lady. If no that black lady, no Ramakrishna. No Ramakrishna, no Vivekananda. No Vivekananda, no Vivekananda's mission in the West. So it is Mother's power which worked through, and it is Ramakrishna's blessings and Swamiji as an able instrument which took shape and impacted the whole world. Here one reference, we are in Singapore celebrating this. Before the Parliament of Religion, when Swamiji started from India, apart from 2 stoppage in Malaysia for not overnight stoppage, as I heard, Singapore was the first place where Swamiji stayed for 3 days in 1893. And slowly, there is a famous sutra by Narada, Tirthi Kurvanti Tirthani. When a great person visits, somehow his visit make that place a place of pilgrimage. Nobody had thought that in 1919, 3 institutions, small groups will donate a piece of land to Swami Sarvanandaji in 1919. And in 1928, Singapore Mission started. Different Swamis came, worked hard, and today it is where we are. So, the Chicago address of Swamiji We will not go in the text of Swamiji's lecture because we already, all of us read it. 131 years before, this is the building where Swamiji spoke, the Art Institute. Now, when Swamiji in 3 times says, I am proud to be representing that religion, which is Hinduism or Vedantism or Sanatana Dharma. Ramakrishna Mission Singapore, 75 years before, when interreligious organization was founded in Singapore, Mission was one of the founding members of that organization. Swami Vivekananda was there. We have IRO has a picture which was taken right in front of our cultural building, though it was in the time of Swami Siddhartha, but in a group photo you found Swami Vivekananda during the foundation of IRO. So today in IRO also, Singapore recognizes 10 religions as being practiced in Singapore, and Hinduism is the oldest according to the when it was founded. Nobody knows when Hinduism was founded, but it was there when the oldest religion was found. So Sanatana Dharma is considered as the oldest available religion, so much oldest. I recently heard that in America, one place, when they called religious leaders, they didn't call anybody Hindu. So the Hinduism is the oldest. Why don't you call it? No, it is a primitive religion. We are so old that you tend to tell it is a primitive religion. Actually, it is not so. Swamiji says it is mother of all religions. There is a beautiful small lecture of Swamiji published in a separate booklet form also called Modern India. In that there is one passage which starts with this. Go to Google and type this line, you will get that passage called Shall India Die? What happens if India is not there in this world? Not that because we come from India, not from that point of view. But Swamiji says, all that is positive, all that is truly spiritual, all that is universal will die if there is no this thought behind. So, many times we see in different countries, there are museums and artifacts are kept. But if you go to India, the old civilizations, thousands and thousands of proofs of that great civilization is just lying in the street, unattended practically. Hinduism is a great religion, as Swamiji puts it here. Even if you are an atheist, you are part of that. Not that it is a planned acceptance of increasing the people of Hinduism, that let the atheist also be part of it. But this freedom of expression in Hinduism, right in front of the temple, a person can proclaim that God doesn't exist, and nobody will oppose him and nobody will kill him. That is Hinduism. Even there is a beautiful incident where Swami Premanandaji went to Puri, if I am not mistaken, and a Christian father was preaching Christianity, and this Swami, out of his love for Sanatana Dharma maybe, he started chanting Haribol, Haribol, and a lot of people joined him, and as if that meeting was disrupted. Next, he got a dream, Sri Ramakrishna telling, why did you go and disturb? He also was talking about me only. When we say truth is one, God is one, many people have difficulty in accepting, but as we just heard, the truth is eventually accepted. And people look for spirituality. That's why there is a big group is being formed nowadays. People want to subscribe to that view called spiritual but not religious. I remember part of IRO, we had a occasion to meet about 50 to 60 youngsters in their 20s and early 30s from all the races and all the religions. And we were 5 different representatives of 5 religions. And we were given 15-20 groups one by one to talk to. When I was talking and giving the same idea that God is one and we are children of the same God, one young boy, one young man couldn't contain himself and said at the end, why you are trusting your idea on us? That God is one, God is one, God is one. How God can be one? How your God and my God can be the same? Keeping the ideas of Sri Ramakrishna, Swamiji, I answered to them, where it is written that our gods are separate. And with that hypothesis, we have killed each other. Even if you feel so that our gods are different, let us take a new hypothesis that our God is the same. Let us practice for a while that hypothesis, whether we can live more in harmony and more in peace or not. So this unifying idea is what Swamiji has preached here. You will find many families in India, or even here also, that it's a Hindu family. They don't subscribe technically to other religions, but could be the husband is an atheist, wife is very orthodox, or otherwise. But they don't take divorce because of that. Many families, among your family also could be, somebody likes to go to one particular temple, somebody likes to go to other organization or something. That doesn't disharmonize the family. And that is the beauty of Hinduism. That even if you subscribe different views, that doesn't make us different, because eventually we meet the same place. I was invited to speak here, very interesting topic organized by a private group. It's called After Death Support, or like hospice, a dying person's support. What if you are present and serving a person who is not of your religion? How you are going to handle? That was more or less the topic. Again, keeping our heritage and our ideas in mind, when my turn came and when I spoke, we speak very clearly. There is no ambiguity in our speech. I said, I am Hindu. If I am serving a Christian, for example, and he or she on the deathbed, do you think I will be chanting Hindu mantras in his or her ears before she dies? No. If I have something to find of Christian prayer, I will give him. Other, I will say, brother, take the name of Jesus Christ. Remember God, whom you believe till today. I am here to serve you. And believe me, rest of all speakers were looking at me. Why you need to thrust your view on somebody on their deathbed, contrary to what he or she used to practice? This Catholicity or this broad-mindedness has to come from Hinduism, has to come from Sanatana Dharma. Swamiji says this, that we believe the idea of toleration, etc. This dictum, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam and Ekam Sad Vipra Bahuda Vadanti, which Swamiji also quoted, has become universal and has become sources to subscribe to these universal views, even by the great people. Even when presidents of America came to India and spoke, in their speeches you find these dictums telling Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, Ekam Sad Vipra Bahuda Vadanti. People are tired of being different to each other. Uniqueness is fine. But as Swamiji says, we not only believe in tolerance, we believe in acceptance. We believe in accepting you as you are. Swamiji gives these two references about the Israel community centuries before came and took shelter in southern India when Zoroastrians were practically had to flee from Iran. No other country than India gave shelter to them, and they are part and parcel of Indian society. So much so that every Irani who stays anywhere in the world speaks an Indian language, Gujarati. Though their religion is different, though their culture is different, but they were India was the only place when they accepted. One aspect you can Google and find in details was after the Second World War, a Polish ship was sailed free in the ocean and told the women and children, find a place in the world wherever you can survive. Here, your life is in danger. from all the way from Poland. No country accepted them. The ship came to Bombay. It was British rule. They didn't accept. That ship came to the port of Jamnagar, and the king of that place, called Navanagar king, he says, "You are not orphans. Never from today ever say that you don't have a father. I am your father." And those 500 individuals, children and women, he gave shelter to them. Till today in his name there is a street in Poland. Still his birthday is celebrated in Poland. He is a Hindu king. What he has to do with the Polish people? Going against the British rule, he is accepting them. The school which he opened for them is still there. The place called Balachadi, and that army school is still there. So, India is very interesting. This aspect we have discussed some places, that you see the countries are trying to become tourist hub and medical hub. India, without any effort, organically became a spiritual hub. How it became? Countries, now there is hardly any country where different religious groups are not staying. But in India is the only land where 4 major religions originated: Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism and Sikhism. Not only that, Jews, the first shelter was India. Zoroastrian, first shelter of India. After Christianity, the first generation came to India and had a church. After the Makkah, the oldest mosque is in India. India, whoever wants to grow spiritually must come to India. As if in last 3,000 to 4,000 years, India became the spiritual hub. We are not telling India is a geographical boundary or a political country at this point. This is the Sanatana Bhavadhara, if you want to say, where this attitude is still there, where a person persecuted anywhere can find shelter. Swamiji quotes 2 shlokas, but that was not the platform for him to say it in Sanskrit. So he gives these 2 shlokas. First thing which he says, as the different streams having their sources in different places all mingle their water in the sea, so, Lord, the different paths which men take, through different tendencies, various though they appear, crooked or straight, all lead to Thee. This is the famous shloka from Shiva Mahimna Stotra, Ruchinam Vaichityat, Rujukutila Nana Pathajusham, Nrinam Eko Gamyaha, Tvamasi Payasam, Aranava Iva. So, and the second shloka Swamiji remembers is a Bhagavad Gita shloka, that Ye Yathamam Prapadyante, Tans Tatheva Bhajamyaham. These are all universal shlokas. Bhagavad Gita is considered, Swami Tapasyanji writes, as scriptures of the mankind. Probably we are not comparing anybody or criticizing anybody, but the prayer Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina, for example, let everybody be happy. Tell me one prayer in any other religion who prays for everyone who exists in this universe. Because when these prayers are formed, there was no other religion as such, or other we didn't know. Maybe Indians didn't know the existence of any other religion anywhere, could be. But these universal prayers are written 5,000 years before. How it is possible? Because whatever was there was universal. We never considered any sectarian view or sectarian ideas. Very interesting, Swamiji says about the persecution which happens in the name of the social injustice or superiority because of the race or religion or culture or even the skin color. Swamiji at that time told to eradicate that, all that. So, see from which Swamiji represents. When Swamiji represents and he talks about Vedanta or Hinduism, he says this, that in the whole history, there is not a single example where India invaded a country for the sake of its own benefit. Never it has happened. In the history, the idea in Hinduism is told that God is everywhere in everybody's heart, not only taking reference from the scriptures, but this is the philosophy that God is not sitting only in the cloud, anusyata in Sanskrit, that tat srishtva tadevanu pravishat. God not only created, but He entered into this. That's why we say God resides in our heart. Spirituality is the solution of all the religious problems. Sri Ramakrishna's famous teaching that be steadfast, be even fanatic in practicing your own religion, that's fine. But with eschewing the bigotry and fanaticism and wrong aspect or wrong ideas and ideas of removing or killing others because of the religious diversity or a different view, that has to be renounced. That's what Sri Ramakrishna's teaching was there, and that universal teaching Swamiji spoke there. I want to take one thread from what Swami Bodhasaranandaji told, that on different levels, could be on political level, could be on social level, could be on personal health or spiritual life level, Hinduism or ideas of Hinduism are spreading everywhere. Some of you may be knowing, in last one of the retreats we talked about it, in 2023, staying in America, studied the history, being a professor in Oxford University, somehow she was ignorant about the Swamiji and his contribution. She comes in contact with Swamiji's ideas and felt that Swamiji is not accepted as he should be accepted. And she wrote a book, Guru of the World, same aspect which Swamiji was discussing just now, that Swamiji was the first person to preach yoga. Then all the yoga came in different ways. Now you have different varieties of same yoga in different packages. Hatha yoga is one part of the yoga, is not everything of yoga. As Maharaj told, you must read the Jnana Yoga, Raj Yoga, Karma Yoga and Bhakti Yoga of Swamiji to understand that. So she wrote a book called Guru of the World, called Professor Ruth Harris. She has written a book, and her few speeches, including her talk in our Vedanta Society in New York. So she writes beautifully and says this, that how 130 years before this young man came to America and gave the ideas which till today as a humanity we have not understood it. That is the solution of all the problems. An idea of exclusive survival, that Swamiji says in the last lecture in this series of Chicago lectures, that if I expect all the religions to die and my religion only will survive, that is a self-destructive idea. You cannot sustain yourself. I sustain because you are there, you sustain because we are there. There is no separate existence. All are complementary to each other, and there is nobody is on island. We all are connected to each other. So Swamiji's Chicago address is not only a small address, but it like a capsule has put everything inside. All the ideas which we need. And believe me, I'm not able to say it here very clearly, but this idea which Swamiji says, we not only believe in tolerance, we believe in universal acceptance. This acceptance is still far. Majority of the people who, even if accept the other religions as a valid source of truth, are still at the level of tolerance and not acceptance. Swamiji told 130 years before, mission actively with all our hundreds of centers and as many countries we are and we travel, we preach the same aspect. Accept people as they are. Religious tolerance is one thing. I tolerate you means if chance comes I may not tolerate you. But acceptance is I accept as you are. So this universal idea Swamiji told 130 years before. Many times when we monks are talking to each other, when we devotionally look at Swami Vivekananda, we all feel the same. We have not understood Swamiji yet. The ideas of Swamiji has to see its fruits in getting translated in the practice. But the only way is to keep on practicing and preaching that which is positive, that which is universal. So these few ideas we wanted to share to understand what Swamiji's Chicago address is all about.